Greenfield Central High School in Greenfield, Indiana. We welcome you to 9-Star TV's presentation of high school basketball. Tonight, in the early goings of the 2016-17 boys basketball campaign, a couple of county rivals both looking to go 2-2 on the young season as the Cougars of GC play host to the New Palestine Dragons. Thanks for joining us wherever you are tonight along 9-Star Land. With my partner Mike Petrie, I'm Chris Lambert. And Mike, we've got a lot to talk about both of these squads, kind of working through some difficulties. As a case of the homestanding Greenfield Central Cougars, it's rebuilding a 20-win team from last season that lost a lot of firepower.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams really kind of in a transition, trying to figure out who's going to step up and be the leaders for them. Greenfield Central in particular, they've got a leader. Will O'Connor was a sixth man on last year's team. He averaged 5 points per game, and that is actually the leading returning scorer from a team that lost 82% of their scoring. They had 7 seniors, including the 4 leading scorers on the squad. So a very solid team last year, but a lot of seniors graduated, and it's a very young team now. As far as returning players, Will O'Connor, Drew Jameson, and Josh Mundell, really the 3 that saw appreciable minutes in game action last year. Everybody else is pretty much new to the varsity roster.
For the New Palestine Dragons end of things, they are working towards getting through the early part of the season, dealing with some early injuries that have taken out 2 of their starters and 2 of their expected top participants in the season, in Dylan Romine and Gavin House.
Yeah, and from a leadership standpoint, they've got it in Jalen Qualkenbush, who has been with the team. Really, I think he's actually seen minutes even as a freshman, even on some of those very good teams that when he was a freshman and a sophomore, averaging 20 points per game so far for the New Pal Dragons. But they've also gotten a little bit from some younger players. Maximus Dizzy coming in, 5'11". He's the second leading scorer, coming in at 12 points per game, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. So I think that they're getting it from the experience and from their young players as well. What New Pal needs to do is they've got to find somebody who can make some shots. When they lost Gavin House to injury, not sure how long it's going to be for him. That was their one established outside shooter. And so they've got to find somebody who can make some shots.
So we're seeing these starters being introduced here at Greenfield Central High School. We'll run them down for you now. First for the visiting New Palestine Dragons of second-year head coach Trent Whitaker. Maximus Jizzy and Matthew True starting in the backcourt. The forwards are senior Graham Biggs and senior Jalen Qualkenbush, who we just talked a lot about. Junior guard Harrison Van Roon rounding out the starting lineup for the Dragons. For the Greenfield Central Cougars, you just saw them introduced. We talked about the 6'6" junior Will O'Connor, their leading scorer. He's joined by senior Dre Jameson, senior Josh Mundell, junior Matt Turner, and junior Brian Long. Michael Lewis in his 3rd year at Greenfield Central, 31 and 22. His 7th year of coaching overall, 88 and 55. And we are underway, or about to be underway, as Harrison Van Roon for New Palestine going up against Matt Turner of Greenfield Central to the opening tip. And we are ready for high school basketball from Greenfield Central High School. Brad Long controls it into the backcourt. Josh Mundell knocks it over to Dre Jameson, and we are underway. The Greenfield Central Cougars in their home whites with blue and yellow numbers and trim, moving from right to left. Turner has it on the right side. He'll get it back out to Mundell, top of the key. He'll call for and get help from Will O'Connor, the leading scorer for this Cougar squad. Back over to Turner on the right side. Had it knocked away momentarily by Matthew True of New Palestine, but the Cougars maintain possession. Jameson driving, and the offensive foul is going to be called, as taking the charge there was Maximus Jizzy.
And just a great job by the young freshman establishing himself in his position. Really had cut off Jameson. Jameson used the forearm shiver to open up that lane, and that's going to get that call every time whenever you extend that arm away from your body.
First foul of the game on Dre Jameson. Now here's New Palestine moving left to right in red. Matthew True gets it over to Graham Biggs. Biggs over to Jizzy, and a whistle and a foul. That's going to go back the other way. Both teams committing offensive fouls here.
Yeah, that was just a travel on New Pal, but a turnover nonetheless. They turn the ball over about 25% of the time, and for a team that struggles offensively, they've got to make sure they value every possession.
Will O'Connor gets it over to Josh Mundell, top of the key for the Cougars. We're a minute gone, no score. Jamison on the dribble, guarded by Jizzy, gets it back out on the arc. Mundell changed hands while on his way to the basket, keeps it alive, kicks it out to O'Connor. Now here's Jamison putting it up in traffic, gets all parts of the rim and rattles home. Dre Jamison's on the board first tonight, and the Cougars lead 2-0.
And that's a good sign from Greenfield Central. When Jamison's able to get some of those shots to fall, that's going to open up the rest of the offense. He can drive and kick as well.
Biggs gets over to Harrison Van Roon for New Palestine. Now over to True at the top of the key. He's at the volleyball stripe, fires to his right to Van Roon. A 3-2 zone from Greenfield Central. They break it. Graham Biggs takes it, kicks it out for a three-point try from Jalen Qualkenbush that hits the rim and bounces off of there into the Cougars' hands.
Have a feeling newpal's going to see a lot of different variations of zone defenses until they can prove they can shoot over top of that and draw the team out.
Here's Jamison setting up the offense, calls for Matt Turner. Turner obliges and takes the pass. Turner draws the defense, gives it back out to Mundell. Mundell shovels a pass to Will O'Connor. O'Connor being guarded by Van Roon, top of the key. Now here's Turner with it, working his way into the paint. Out for a three-point try that is up and good for Josh Mundell. And the Cougars lead 5-0.
And there you see Jamison creating that as he was able to get into the lane again. Newpal's going to have to figure out a way to stop him defensively.
True gives it to the top of the key to Biggs, now to the right corner to Jizzy. Over it comes again to Qualkenbush, top of the key. Jizzy puts it on the ground, brings it up to Van Roon. Now a bounce to the left side to Biggs. And they'll try a three-pointer from the top of the key, just off the mark from Harrison Van Roon. New Palestine comes up with it momentarily. Now it's loose in back courts. And that'll be a turnover for Greenfield Central. Graham Biggs almost had that loose ball, just couldn't quite hold on.
Yeah, and actually just a really bad luck more than anything, because he was the last player to touch it and knocks it backwards. He comes and picks it up in the backcourt. They call over and back for it.
Just looked at the replay of that three-pointer from the left corner for Josh Mundell. Cougars back in action, and Mundell's now got it at the top of the key. Pass intended for Will O'Connor is knocked away, and driving the length and drawing the foul is Harrison Van Roon for the New Palestine Dragons.
And that's what you like to see if you're Coach Trent Whitaker. And a point that I'm going to be harping on a lot tonight is that Newpal struggles offensively. That's how you can get your offense going, though. If you can create some easy buckets in transition and get to the free throw line, you give yourself a real chance.
Van Roon to the stripe for the first one, rims out of there. He is now 1 of 5 from the foul line early goings in this 2016-17 campaign.
Small sample size, but yeah, that's
very small.
Perhaps want other people getting to the foul line at least.
Averages over 9 points a game. Can't get the second one to go either. So not on the scorebook just yet. Dre Jamison with the ball for Greenfield Central. The Cougars will bring it across the stripe with a 5-0 lead. Just underway here, about 3 minutes gone at Greenfield Central High School. To the right side, Dre Jamison gets it to the top of the key. Now Matt Turner has it. Over to the left side, Mundell drives into the paint, puts up the leaner with a right hand. It rolls and it won't go, and the rebound comes down to Qualkenbush. And New Palestine will press. Jizzy with it on the right side. Gets it to Qualkenbush, who drives and kicks it out to Van Roon. Now we're to the left side, Qualkenbush again. At the foul stripe extended, hands off to Jizzy. Down in the left-hand corner, three-point try is up and good for Harrison Van Roon. And the Dragons are on the board for the first time tonight, down 5-3.
And that's what you like to see. One thing that was interesting to me, Qualkenbush passed up 2 decent looks and was willing to work through the offense, continue to get better looks for his teammates.
Mundell faking a three, drawing the defense on Qualkenbush. Hands it off to Will O'Connor, who will drive, loses it out of bounds, and good defense down there by Qualkenbush on that bottom right block forces the turnover.
That's great defense by Newpal, just keeping your position, not panicking once Jamison got into the lane. Greenfield Central's gotten into the lane and has put up some circus shots. One of them was able to fall, but they're really not in a position to shoot once they make that jump stop.
Palestine set the offense now, down 2. It's in the hands of Van Roon on the top right. Nice no-look pass into traffic for Graham Biggs. Biggs double-teamed and double dribbles.
It was almost too good because Biggs didn't quite know what to do with it once he got it.
He wasn't quite expecting that one either. So officially, no one in the building Except maybe Van Roon knew that pass was coming. So good defense by the Cougars, and they'll bring it into their offensive half. Mundell, top of the key. Bounce pass away to O'Connor. O'Connor, down low it comes to Brad Long for Greenfield Central. Double team, fights for it, puts up a shot over Graham Biggs and knocks it down, his first basket.
Yeah, and that's a solid post game from Long. Just dribbled his guy down and took advantage.
And a quick three on the answer for Matthew True. Both of the New Palestine baskets are trifectas. True makes it a 7-6 game. It's just a 1-point difference right now. 2:52 to go in this first quarter. Top of the key, Jamison. Over to the left side, Mundell. Mundell's going to drive it into the arc. Left side blocks, bounce pass away to Brad Long. Long has the double team on him. He'll get it out to Mundell on the left side. Mundell puts it on the floor and hustles out of trouble, gives it off to Matt Turner at the big Cougar paw print at the center of the floor. To Jamison now. Now Mundell holds high, tries to pass in traffic, almost knocked away. O'Connor saves it, drives, and it's called. Gets the foul. Actually, it looked like it might have ended up being called a charge, but the other way around, it's going to go against the Dragons.
Yeah, a nice baseline drive by O'Connor. He gets past Biggs, and then Qualkenbush trying to cover, slides in just a little bit late.
So here's Will O'Connor. First free throw is up and good. The leading scorer for the Cougars, as we mentioned at the top of our broadcast, 22 points per game. He's on the board now as Austin Keel makes his first appearance for New Palestine down on the low blocks. O'Connor's second free throw is up and good. And it's 8-6 Greenfield Central. Back and forth we go in this one. It should say 9-6 after the second one. It's a 3-point lead. Dragons in the hands of Harrison Van Roon. Over to Jizzy. They've knocked down 2 threes. Another one ties it up. Over to Jizzy down the left corner. Here's that 3-point try. It's up. It's too strong for Matthew True. Rebound put back for Austin Keel. Won't go. It's knocked out of bounds. It's going to stay on this side of the floor.
And we talked in the girls' game, the first part of the doubleheader tonight, how New Pal came into the game not shooting the three as a big part of their offense, but they found the 3-point line to their liking in this gym. We've seen it a little bit with the boys team as well. They are much more prolific shooting, at least as far as attempts go, but they do not they have not made so many threes tonight, or coming into tonight. Tonight they've got 2 of their first 3.
And there is a huge offensive foul called on Jalen Qualkenbush. That is his second in the first quarter. More parallels to the girls' game we saw, where the star player for one team picked up 2 fouls early in the first quarter. This time for New Palestine, Qualkenbush on the charge. And we'll see how Trent Whittaker plays things with his star player as Greenfield Central turns it over on that pass. Jared Jackson called for the travel.
And what we're seeing, again, the officials with the point of emphasis on that travel, both at the beginning and at the end of drives, seeing a lot of guys just a little bit sloppy with dragging their pivot foot.
Bad pass on the inside for the Dragons. It's tipped away, and the Cougars come up with it. They lead it by 3. They bring it into front court. 90 seconds to play first quarter. Mundell driving the left blocks. Nice pass in midair to Jared Jackson, who finishes from the right side.
Very good job of looking and getting your teammate open before you throw that pass. A couple of times the Cougars have done that. They've driven to the baseline, not really had a shot themselves, but they drew the defense, and Jamison and Mundell have both done that for their teammates.
And Greenfield Central will take a 30-second timeout as things looking a little ragged at the moment, but they do enjoy the 5-point lead early goings. 1:16 to play in the opening quarter. Greenfield Central 11, New Palestine 6. So, Mike, we haven't had a lot of time to think about how this second foul on Jalen Qualkenbush is going to affect the game. But right now we're seeing Trent Whittaker going ahead and rolling the dice, keeping his star player out there.
Yeah, he took him out real quickly, but now he brings him back after a very short break, and now he is back out. So I think you're going to see a mix and match. He's going to try to just play try to find some lineup that can work. As much as anything, keep this game as close as possible while he waits for Qualkenbush to get back in.
James Little in the game for New Palestine. You just saw him trigger the inbounds play. Now Van Roon gets it up top to Little. Now back to Van Roon again. Little's going to try a three-pointer from about a step behind the arc. It's no good. Couple of Cougars in rebounding position, and John Davis is the one that comes down with it. Davis in the game of the dead ball. Over to Mundell. He wants three, and he knocks it down. Second three-pointer of the game for Josh Mundell. The senior sharpshooter has expanded this lead to 8.
Yeah, and Mundell's had a very solid start to the game. Not only 2 threes, but he's also got 2 assists.
Van Roon to True, out to Little. 37 seconds to play in the opening quarter. Palestine, be careful not to let this get away from him. That's tipped out of bounds. That'll stay with New Palestine, but a good quick hands of Josh Mundell to disrupt the play.
And it's tough for a freshman to make an impact, but this is where Maximus Jizzy's really got to assert himself. Perhaps if he can get the team stretched out, he can drive to the basket and create an opportunity for his teammates. 18
seconds in the hands of Van Roon. Now it comes to True. Now to Jizzy on the left side. 14 seconds on the clock. Keeping it about 2 steps behind the arc as they work around looking for something open. Now Jizzy into the paint. Draws the double team. Kicks out for a three-pointer for True. It won't go. Rebound for Jared Jackson of Greenfield Central. Lobs it ahead for a turnaround shot at the buzzer that won't go for Dre Jamison. And an entertaining first quarter comes to an end here at Greenfield Central High School. This Hoosier Heritage Conference battle currently in the hands of the home team. After one quarter, it's the Cougars 14 and the Dragons 6. We're back in a moment with more basketball on 9 Star TV. Join us all season long for great basketball here on 9 Star Connect. This one's pretty good too. After one quarter, Greenfield Central leading New Palestine 14-6. Alongside Mike Petrie, Chris Lambert with you on the call. And Mike, Greenfield Central getting a lot of production from a lot of different folks getting into the game early goings.
Yeah, and a lot of it starts with Josh Mundell both shooting the ball and getting his teammates involved. Because he's so dangerous from behind the three-point line, he's drawing defenders to him and is able to get the New Pal defense to overcommit in a couple of occasions.
Michael Lewis, you saw him out there, happy with the first quarter and happy with that miss from the New Palestine Dragons as we start the second quarter. James Little with the outside miss, and underneath, Cougars come up with it as Austin Keel going for the rebound is instead going to get his first foul.
If I have one criticism of this New Pal team, they just take so many three-point shots that it doesn't really force the defense to do a whole lot of work, because right now they're taking about 46% of their shots coming into tonight are three-pointers, and I'm going to guess that percentage has gone up tonight, and they're only shooting 21% on the season from the three-point line.
Nice spin move for Brad Long. Couldn't get it to go, but Dre Jamison is able to clean it up on the weak side. He's got 2 baskets tonight, and the Cougar lead has reached double figures. Here's Austin Keel with it for New Palestine in red. To True, tried to get it to the right corner to Dawson. Dawson Eastes mistimed the pass, and it goes out of bounds, and the Cougars will take it.
And they're just looking for any offensive spark. I don't know how much longer Coach Whitaker can keep Quackenbush on the bench there.
Might be time for a shot in the arm, as you say. Jamison gets it over to Brad Long. Back out it comes. Three-point try, rattles around, doesn't go for Jamison, and this time the Dragons come down with a rebound. James Little pulls it down. Here's Maximus Jizzy in front court. Fires around, knocks it around, and knocks it in for his first basket of the night.
And that's what you like to see. When you're struggling to score offensively, get the ball down the court before the opponents can get themselves set up defensively.
8-point game. Cougars with the lead in the ball, and Will O'Connor throws it away. Matthew True is there with a steal. He's going to take it all the way in and knocks it down.
And a nice drive there by True. It looked like he might have been called for a carry, but the officials do not blow the whistle, and he is able to go coast to coast with it.
defender might have blocked the referee's view on that one. 16-10, it's back to a 6-point game. Quickly again, 8 as Dre Jamison glides in with ease from the right side and gets his 6th point. 18-10, and as the entry pass, we have a whistle. And away from the ball, looks like I need an injury timeout.
Yeah, is that 41 for the New Pal Dragons, Dawson Eastis.
Eastis is going to be...
must have blood on the jersey.
Yep, so they're going to have to go back and find some more suitable apparel before Dawson Eastis can return to the contest for New Palestine. Doesn't look to be in any distress except for missing a few moments of action, but Harrison Van Roon is going to check back in for the Dragons.
What we've seen the last couple minutes from this New Pal side, they've done a good job of turning defense into offense, and that's what they're going to have to do to stay in this. On the Greenfield Central side, it's been the two seniors, Mundell and Jamison, really steadying the ship whenever there's a storm of any kind.
Chizzy gets it back to Van Roon. Over to the left side, James Little. Gets away from the defense of Jamison, gives it up top to Chizzy once more. Spin move top of the key, drives in, and is fouled on its way to the basket. Looks like Matt Turner might be the guilty party that time. Actually, they're going to give it to Brad Long, it looks like, so that would be his first.
And you can tell what Maximus Chizzy lacks in experience and in height. He definitely makes up for with Panache with a nice spin move in the lane.
First free throw missed from the freshman Maximus Chizzy. In other news, I can't read my own writing. My apologies, Brian Long. He has his first foul of the game for Greenfield Central. And Chizzy hits 1 out of 2. He's got 3 points on the night. 18-11. The Cougar lead is at 7 points. And they'll bring it across slowly. 2.5 minutes into the second quarter of play. And on the move is Will O'Connor. Hands it off to Mundell. Mundell will swing it to the right side to Matt Turner. Now to the newly christened Brian Long, who goes baseline, and it's forced out of bounds. There it looks like, but
let's see, are they going to call a foul there? Yeah.
Yeah. So
it looked like that was a slow whistle because he had taken 2 steps on that line, but they ruled that he had been forced there anyway by the contact.
So Austin Keel picks up 2 fouls. He and Qualkenbush both in foul trouble. Here's the inbounds, comes to Long. Fights for it, can't get it to go. A loose ball picked up by Van Roon, and he's off to the races. New Palestine quickly into front court. They get it to Chizzy, top of the key. Shot is blocked by Brian Long. Out of bounds it goes.
And Brian Long is going to get a talking to from the official, and I'm not sure he followed Chizzy there, and I'm not sure the official liked what he saw there. It looked like Long standing over Chizzy. I'm not sure if that's what actually transpired, but that's what it looked like.
Here the home fans of the Greenfield Central side aren't particularly happy with that particular exchange between their player and the referee as Chizzy knocks down the first free throw. And looks like Brian Long will take a short break.
Yeah, and probably a smart move just before things boil over to make sure that nothing bad does transpire.
Both free throws for Chizzy are good. He's 3 of 4 from the stripe, 5 points, and it's a 5-point game. Top of the key now, Matt Turner. Turner, spin move, tries to kick it over to Logan Grady, who's checked into the contest. That's tipped out of bounds, should be staying with the Cougars. And they'll inbound baseline left side. Actually, check that'll be on the sideline right in front of the Greenfield Central band, and Mundell will trigger. Mundell looking, gets it into the hands of Grady. Grady up top now to O'Connor. Well behind the volleyball line. He's picked up on defense by Van Roon there. Over to Mundell, it brings it to the top of the key. Man defense suffocating from the Dragons at the moment as Turner loses the handle, picks it back up, no harm. Gets it to Jamison, who also loses the handle. A couple of hurries created there by the Dragons. Cougars have weathered the storm thus far. Now Mundell top of the key. Gets it over to Turner, drives on the right side, a little too strong on that one. Ball goes out of bounds, and that'll be New Palestine's ball.
Nice positioning there from New Pal by number 22, James Little. Just boxing out, kept the Greenfield Central player from getting a clean grasp of the ball.
Just about midway through the second quarter, 5-point deficit for the Dragons, who have it in front court. Jizzy gets it down low. 3-point try for James Little is off the mark. The rebound will go to Greenfield Central, out of bounds, last touched by the Dragons.
And that shot just a little bit quick there from Little, because I think that newpal has done a good job of working their offense and forcing Greenfield Central to defend. That shot just went up a little bit too quickly.
So in front court for the Cougars, still up by 5. Here's Mundell with it, gets it to O'Connor. He's got an opening on the left side. Right-hand jumper won't go. Rebound, a run down, ushered out of bounds. The Cougars thought it was going to be theirs, but it's the Dragons' ball. So inbounding in front of the newpal bench, we Samuel Voles. Voles, a senior center in the game for the first time tonight. Up top, it comes to Jizzy. Jizzy on the dribble, gets it over to the left side. Here's Van Roon, out to the left corner to Little. Little brings it up top. Jizzy wants a long 3, and he knocks it down. Maximus Jizzy asks, are you not entertained with a 3-pointer? He has 8 points on the night.
Just a very good second quarter here. He's got all 8 points in the second quarter. He's kept this newpal team in it without their leading scorer, allowed Trent Whitaker to keep Qualkenbush on the bench.
One possession game now as the Cougars have it up 3. O'Connor will give it up to Matt Turner, and over to Mundell it comes. Mundell to the semicircle, double team, needs some help. O'Connor comes out in the nick of time. O'Connor chased by Van Roon. There's a reach in. O'Connor maintains control, dumps it out to Jamison. Now down to the left corner. Mundell spins away from his man on the left blocks, but can't complete the shot, and a whistle and a bump after the fact.
I think Mundell's going to kick himself when he sees that in the film room, because that was a possession. He did absolutely everything right on that, except he didn't finish the shot. I think he spun and found himself a lot more open than he thought he would be. He ended up kind of rushing that layup. He had all the time in the world.
And ends up committing the foul on Samuel Voles to add insult to injury. Cougars can tie or go ahead, and Harrison Van Roon starts his drive, kicks it out on the arc to Little, who works his way into the paint, into the double team, can't get that one to go. Cougars come down with a board.
That one didn't fall, but I like that shot selection a lot better from Little.
And that was John Davis on the dribble. That one got a bit away from him. Good pressure by the Dragons in position, and they'll get another chance to tie this game up.
I really like how active newpal is on the defensive side. A lot of forced/unforced turnovers from Greenfield Central. They're at least bothering the Cougars enough to get in their heads a little bit.
Harrison Van Roon tried to set things up for James Little, but called for the turnover. So a couple of times now the Dragons have come down with a chance to tie or take the lead and haven't been able to complete the deal. Here's O'Connor with it for Greenfield Central. Out of the replay, they'll bring it across. O'Connor, top of the key, guarded by Van Roon. Gets around him, draws a double team, kicks it out. Here's a 3-pointer. No good for Turner. Rebound comes down to Voles. Here come the Dragons with a third chance. In the hands of Jizzy. Puts out the arm. Called for the charge.
Yeah, and they're gonna call that every time. Again, you get that arm away from your body, you're gonna get called for that.
That'll be the first foul on Jizzy. Both teams with 5 fouls apiece. With 1:44 to play. Bonus really not in play at the moment, if you will. Will O'Connor across the timeline for Greenfield Central. They're holding on desperately to this 2-point lead. Over to Jamison, guarded by Jizzy. To the left side now. Here's Turner, top of the key. Back it comes to Jamison. Couple steps behind the arc on the right side, trying to get around Jizzy. Voles with the help. Out it comes. 3-point try is up and good for Logan Grady.
And that was a 3-pointer Greenfield Central desperately needed. They've been creating some decent shots, but just a lot of them not falling down. That one goes down for the Cougars.
Grady's first basket is a big triple, makes it a 5-point game again. Back for New Palestine. There's a spin move for Jizzy. Has it blocked out of his hands. The shot in midair blocked by Jamison, but the Dragons run it down. And Jizzy will reset the offense as we tick under a minute to play here in the first half. Dragons got it within 2 right now. The deficit is 5. And Jizzy dribbling things out at midcourt. Greenfield Central settling in the zone. And we'll see what the Dragons come up with for the intended last shot of the half. Jizzy to Van Roon. Takes a shot. Zone sags back to the middle as Jizzy takes the ball with 26 seconds on the clock.
keep your eye on True in that far corner for newpal. If I'm the Dragons, I'm going to try to work something and get him open.
And he swings to the right side, and they'll give it to him there with 13 seconds. Now back to Jizzy. True will work his way back to that left corner. Now cuts again. Nothing there. Jizzy gets it over to Van Roon with 4 seconds on the clock. To Jizzy. He's going to take it himself. Drives inside with 1 second. Wipe off the basket and a travel. But New Palestine worked that play as long as they could, but nothing opened up. GC defense did its job.
Yeah, nice job by the GC defense, but
long shot won't go. You were saying, Mike?
Yeah, nice job by the GC defense, but if you're newpal, you've got to feel good about that possession, just that you were able to drag it out as long as you possibly could. GC technically got a shot there, but really didn't. When you give the ball back with half a second left, you feel pretty good about your chances. newpal, at the end of the half, they're only down 5, and Jalen Qualkenbush has played maybe 4 minutes. So I think they feel pretty good about where they are. They've just got to be able to find some consistent scoring options. On the defensive side, both teams really taking away the opponent's #1 option.
Leading scorer Maximus Jizzy with 8 for the Dragons. For Greenfield Central, Dre Jamison and Josh Mundell with 6 apiece. We'll see if the Dragons look a lot different in the second half with Qualkenbush back on the floor. But right now, at the half, your score from Greenfield Central, the Cougars leading the New Palestine Dragons 21-16. We're back in just a bit. You're watching high school basketball on 9 Star TV.
Earth's surface is the shoreline of a new ocean.
You ready for this?
It'll be the greatest adventure ever in human history.
We're looking at a red planet.
Mars, new episodes, Mondays at 9 on National Geographic.
Back at Greenfield Central High School, second half about to get underway. Boys basketball action tonight here on 9 Star TV. Alongside Mike Petrie, Chris Lambert with you as the Greenfield Central Cougars lead the New Palestine Dragons 21-16. And Mike, biggest story of this game, at least the first half thus far, might not just be who's playing well, but who has kind of been missing from action.
Yeah, absolutely. The leading scorers from both squads really haven't had a huge impact, at least offensively. Jalen Qualkenbush picked up 2 quick fouls for the Dragons. He was sitting on the bench for the last 12 minutes of the first half with 0 points. For the Greenfield Central Cougars, Will O'Connor, leading scorer, averaging 23 points on the season. He's only got 2 free throws to his name. He hasn't been able to get many shots to drop either.
Well, the Cougars built up a lead of 12 early in the second quarter. New Palestine put a nice offensive run together. They had 3 chances to tie the game, couldn't quite do so. And then a 3-pointer near the end of the period from Logan Grady pushed the lead back out to 5 for Greenfield Central. But if you're Trent Whitaker, you got to be very happy with the way your team has responded.
Yeah, you missed those 3 opportunities as you talked about, but you've got to feel really good, especially the Greenfield Central scoring in that second quarter. Dre Jamison got 2 quick shots up, maybe the first minute of that second quarter, and it looked like it was going to be a runaway. But then the defense really clamped down, and it was about 5.5, 6 minutes between the Jamison's second bucket in the to start the quarter, which put the lead out as far as it's gone, and then Grady's 3. Inside of that, Maximus Jizzy put up 8 points for the Dragons, and really, he's been a lightning bug for the Dragons, just doing a great job getting that spark and keeping the Dragons in this game.
Well, New Palestine out there, ready to get things going, as is Greenfield Central. Harrison Van Roon, the starter for New Palestine, not starting in this second half. Looks like we'll get you the numbers as we can, but we're already underway as Greenfield Central has possession to start the third quarter, and they start it in style with a 3-point shot, the first basket of the night for Matt Turner.
And a nice job by Greenfield Central. They were able to get into the lane, created an opportunity, drew a defender, and Turner had a free look for 3.
James Little in the lane is the new 5th starter for New Palestine in the second half. Right now the ball's in the hands of Matthew True. Now Maximus Jizzy, who scored 8 points to lead the way for New Palestine in the first half. He's their second leading scorer. Really put that run together in the second quarter as there's a three-pointer back the other way, and that's up and good for Matthew True, his second triple of the night. He's got 8.
And that's a good start for True. He came into the game 5 of 19. He's hit a couple of threes tonight. He's got to be feeling a little bit more confident with that stroke.
Cougars in white with a 5-point lead. Here's Will O'Connor. He wants to try a three. That one grazes the rim, goes out of bounds, and it'll be New Palestine ball. Kind of a heat check for everybody on the floor as we had back-to-back threes from each team.
And Will O'Connor, maybe a little bit impatient there. As we mentioned, only 2 points in that first half. Did a good job of kind of waiting for his shot. That time might have rushed it, wasn't really squared up.
True gets it over to Jizzy, now top of the key to Jalen Qualkenbush. We talked about how much time he missed with foul trouble, but the Dragons weathered the storm. They try to get a bounce pass inside to Qualkenbush. A kick will reset the play. And New Palestine will inbound right below the venerable student section. James Little will trigger it into Jizzy.
One thing I like with Qualkenbush trying to get himself involved, he's not trying to do it from behind the arc, trying to get himself set up in the lane. That's going to draw some defenders to him.
Three-point try doesn't go for James Little. Greenfield Central comes up with a board and throws it away in front court. Nobody holding on to the ball well in that possession, but here comes Jizzy back for New Pal. He'll jump from the right side, missed the shot, rebound hauled in by Josh Mundell. Hands off to O'Connor, and here come the Cougars, still up 5. 2 minutes gone in this third quarter as it comes over to the right side in the hands of Matt Turner. Now top of the key, it goes to Mundell and back to O'Connor on the right side. Now they'll work it to the left side of the arc. Dre Jamison. Mundell comes, takes it, and to the left side now Turner. Trying to get something open inside. Do they have it here? Long works around the defense, turns around, and he does get it to go.
Biggs was just battling, trying to deny him the pass. Once Long got it, it was pretty much elementary that unless there was a double team, he was going to be able to get to the basket.
And there's a foul on the drive as Brian Long is going to be whistled. Jalen Qualkenbush got around him down low, and he's going to earn a trip to the stripe as Brian Long picks up foul number 3.
And an interesting subplot to this game, Brian Long not making many friends on the New Palestine side. He had a very hard foul on Jizzy in the first half and then sat for the last 4 minutes after having a little bit of a word from the official. We'll see if Coach Lewis says anything to him as he comes to the sideline here. 3 fouls, even without that extra curricular activity, enough to get him to sit for a little bit.
He's replaced by Logan Grady as Qualkenbush's second free throw rolls around. And Jalen Qualkenbush, with his first 2 points of the night, foul trouble limited him in that first half, but he gets the Dragons within 5. 5:20 to play in the third. Top of the key, here's Dre Jamison for Greenfield Central. Gets it over to Turner. Turner to Mundell, who'll let it fly from long range, and it's no good. It's a bit short, and the rebound comes down to Little.
Did not like that jump shot at all. He kind of realized about halfway up that was probably not a shot he should be taking, I think.
Into the left corner, Little gets it back out to Jizzy. Now here's Qualkenbush. He took an extra step inside.
Yeah, and just a little frustrated trying to get himself going. Took too many steps before he put the dribble down.
Just being out of the game for so long with foul trouble, now coming back in, kind of hard to get back into the offensive flow a little bit as we see Samuel Voles check back in to give James Little a break on the New Palestine side.
In the girls' game, we saw Greenfield Central actually trying to force the ball into Madison Wise on a couple of occasions. New Pal here has definitely forced the ball to Qualkenbush to start the half.
Jamison with it for the Cougars, gets it over to Turner. Now top of the key, here's O'Connor driving down low for a reverse shot up and good, no good for Logan Grady. Rebound comes down to New Palestine. That's Maximus Jizzy with it, gets it over to the left side to Biggs. Over to the right side, 3-pointers in the air, no good for True. And a reach-in foul is going to be called on the Dragons after the fact as Graham Biggs dives to try to haul in that loose ball and picks up his first.
That's two shots that really do not reward the passer. Both of them did a good job of getting their teammates open, especially O'Connor on the Greenfield Central side. Did a great job getting the ball to his teammate, just wasn't able to complete the layup at the end.
Dragon foul number 30, Graham Biggs, his first team
Foul on Biggs, as we mentioned, team foul number 1 in the half for Greenfield Central. Both teams, or for New Palestine, both teams with 1 foul apiece. It's the Cougars by 5 with the ball as we near the midpoint of this third quarter. Top of the key, O'Connor to the right side, puts it up with the right hand, rims out of there, no good. Fighting for the rebound and controlling eventually as New Palestine. Qualkenbush went to the ground. Voles turns around and keeps it alive. Here are the Dragons in front court. Qualkenbush fakes the 3, gets it inside the Voles, and we have a whistle and a reach-in foul.
Yeah, a nice look from Qualkenbush. Voles was a little deliberate getting into his pivot motion there, but held the ball long enough to get the foul called.
First foul of the game on Logan Grady. And the inbounds for New Palestine, a little double team trouble underneath, but it turns into a turnover as Graham Biggs first was double teamed, tried to bail out to True, and New Palestine coughs it up.
Yeah, a little bit of a spacing problem there for New Pal, as just 2 guys in the same area, and then they ended up having to kind of fight over the ball before one player forced to travel, essentially.
Greenfield Central brings it into front court, still with the 5-point lead. Here's O'Connor driving on the left side, and a foul on the block attempt. Samuel Voles looks like the guilty party there, although there was a double team on O'Connor.
I was going to see. No, they called it on Biggs. Okay. I thought Biggs did a pretty good job of going up, going straight up. I thought maybe Voles might have gotten him coming to the side, but to be perfectly honest, that looked pretty clean.
So here's Will O'Connor earning the trip to the stripe, knocks down the first. His only scoring tonight has been from the foul line. He's now got 3 points. As we mentioned, junior guard leading the team in scoring coming in tonight.
And it's a nice luxury for Greenfield Central at 6'6". He's probably taller. He's taller than pretty much everybody on New Pal's roster.
Wide open 3 from the right side for Jalen Qualkenbush off the bullet pass from Maximus Gizzi, and the Dragons cut the lead to 4.
A great look from Gizzi keeping his head up, but O'Connor able to not only able to shoot over everybody, able to pass over everybody and see the court very well.
And Greenfield Central trying to work the offense going here. Jared Jackson into the game, gets it over to the left side to Grady. He works his way in between the defenders, missed the shot, but the rebound is hauled down by John Davis. Second shot won't go for Jared Jackson, and the New Pal rebound is loose, out of bounds, and it'll go to the Dragons.
Poked out by Jamison there. Great defense by Qualkenbush, and you see the difference between being able to sit for those last 12 minutes of the first half. That gave him the luxury. He's still only got 2 fouls now, and he was able to take an aggressive stance there, got in position, and forced a bad shot.
Biggs over to Gizzi, down the right corner to Qualkenbush, and they'll work it right back up to the top of the key to Matthew True. Now Gizzi with 3 steps behind the arc, puts it in motion, gives to Biggs top of the key. 2:33 to play in this third quarter, and New Palestine trying to cut further into this 4-point Greenfield Central lead.
Gizzi had 8 points in the second quarter, but he has really not even seen the ball here in the third quarter.
3-point try is a bit short, rims off of there. Voles' putback won't go off the Qualkenbush miss. It'll stay on New Palestine's end of the floor, however.
Nice job by Voles staying after his shot, was able to, again, not really get a clean rebound, but he prevented Greenfield Central from getting a clean grasp on the ball as well.
It'll be the inbound from Gizzi. Gets it into the left-hand corner to Qualkenbush. He's going to drive, spin move, puts the shot up over Jared Jackson and knocks it down.
Jackson did all he could defensively, but once Qualkenbush got it, he was just backing him down, and then a nice spin move can go to either hand and get the ball up off the backboard.
Qualkenbush with 7, and it's a 2-point game. Here's Greenfield Central. Davis kicks it out on the arc. Logan Grady looking, gets it over to O'Connor. Big 3-pointer and a big answer for Greenfield Central as O'Connor has his first field goal of the night, 7 points overall.
Every time New Pal's been able to get it down to 2, Greenfield Central's had an answer.
And both times it's been a big 3 to do it. There's Qualkenbush to Voles. Out it comes to True, who corrals it for Gizzi. He's got it on the left side now, being guarded by Jackson. Top of the key. Works over to the right side, Qualkenbush again. As he drives, he kicks it out. 3-point try is up from the left side. It won't go for Qualkenbush. A rebound is loose and the Cougars have it. Quickly in the front court is Jared Jackson. skies a pass to O'Connor. Now Jackson was alone up top. They'll work it around the arc again. Back to a three-point try. That's up and good for Jared Jackson. That's his first basket from outside of the night. He's got 5 points. Quick timeout taken on the floor by the Dragons.
Jackson passed up the three-point shot the first time, threw it down to his teammate. It comes swinging around to him. He wasn't going to pass it up the second time. He was squared and ready to fire.
Timeout actually taken by the Cougars as they have built the lead up to 8, 34-26, 59.8 seconds to play in the opening quarter. As once again, New Palestine put on a bit of a run, got within a single basket, and Greenfield Central put down the clamps, knocked down a big three-point shot from outside, and slowed things down. They built the lead back up to 8.
I think one thing that, and this is, I think, as much a function of just being so early in the season, and you've got a senior and a freshman that are your two leading scorers. They need to learn to work off of each other's games a little bit. Jizzy got all 8 of his points in the second quarter, of course, with Qualkenbush out of the game. But Qualkenbush has 7 points here in the third quarter, I should say, and Jizzy has 0. When you see them working through their offense, it's like they're on different pages. When Jizzy starts trying to drive, Qualkenbush, is not communicating exactly where one is going. And so I think, again, that's probably a function of it being so early in the season, not having a lot of time to work together. But if they're going to reach their full potential offensively, those two are going to have to be in better sync.
Dragons out of the timeout, down by 8 with under a minute to play in this third quarter. To the top of the key, Gizzy driving, goes down the right blocks, a little bit out of control, down on the floor, and a whistle and a jump ball. If that's the call, it will go in the favor of the Dragons.
Yeah, that's a jump ball. That'll be a half a turnover. I like the idea from Jizzy. He's able to drive into the lane, but he's got to be able to keep his head up, and probably would have been better served to stop. He kind of put his head down and was going straight to the rim there. If he comes and stops, when the defense converges on him, he's going to have 2 or 3 open teammates.
Just wasn't quite cognizant of the presence of Logan Grady, who slowed his drive, and then Jackson and O'Connor diving in to make that jump ball happen. Well, quick timeout taken by New Palestine with 42.9 seconds, as Trent Whitaker's not going to let a possession go awry without a chance to set up a solid play here and try to get a little momentum going into the fourth quarter. As we've seen twice, they've put on a run to get back into this game, and it just comes up a bit short each time. Still plenty of time in this one, and Gizzy will inbound out of the timeout. He's looking left. He gets it out to the hands of Matthew True, who brings it to the top of the key from the right side. Now we're to the left side, hands it back to Gizzy. Draws a double team. Qualkenbush takes the pass, turns around and fires from the right, blocks and knocks it down. And Jalen Qualkenbush has 9 points in this third quarter.
Yeah, he's made himself a presence, is now the leading scorer, I believe.
6-point game with 18 seconds to play. And you are correct in that fact, as the Cougars bring it to the top of the key, and John Davis will slow things down. Greenfield Central wants to run some clock. Davis will dump it behind him to Jamison with 4 seconds. Over to the right side, Jamison with 1 second. Three-pointer at the buzzer is up and good for Will O'Connor. He got rid of that with about 0.2 on the clock. Dead center, top of the key. Great ball movement from the Cougars. O'Connor in double figures, and that's a huge basket, makes the lead 9.
And the Dragons really fortunate that it's not a shot at a 4-point play at the end of the quarter, as he was bumped before the jump shot, going up to the jump shot, and after the jump shot, and he still makes the shot over 2 Dragon defenders.
37-28 your score as Greenfield Central leads New Palestine. Fourth quarter coming up in a moment. You're watching high school basketball on 9-Star TV.
In the winter, we are not selling very many snow cones. I think it's because it's cold outside. To compensate, we try soup.
Soup.
Hot, tasty soup.
This is revolutionary. You heat them up with soup, and then look, they gotta buy more snow cones to cool down. And you make the soup even hotter.
Because then their mouth is on fire.
Then
so
more
nice.
snow cones.
Greenfield Central band having a good time. We hope you are too. Fourth quarter coming up on 9-Star TV with the Greenfield Central Cougars leading the New Palestine Dragons 37-28 after a big buzzer beater at the top of the key from Will O'Connor.
And we asked where the leading scorers were for both teams. They both showed up here in the third quarter. Qualkenbush has all 9 of his points, and O'Connor with 8 of his 10.
That's Mike Petrie. I'm Chris Lambert. Glad you're watching. It's going to be a very entertaining end to this one. Austin Keel back in the game for New Palestine. Turns around, gives it off to Matthew True, and misses the three-pointer. Geezy with the rebound, keeps it alive for New Palestine. Out it comes to Graham Biggs. Biggs on the left side of the arc, top of the key. Biggs to the left side. Gizzy now back up to True. They get it inside once more to Keel. Good ball movement. Here's a three-point try of it up from the left side for Qualkenbush. It won't go. The rebound comes down to Jared Jackson. Jackson over to Will O'Connor. Across the timeline. O'Connor to Dre Jamison. Jamison at the volleyball line to the left-hand side. He drives, puts up the right-hand shot. Won't go. Rebound taken down by Keel. Gives it off to Jizzy. Here's on the way he goes, and his shot is blocked by Brian Long. Second shot won't go either. Greenfield Central comes out with it. Running around in backcourt, Jared Jackson needs a little help. O'Connor comes up with it and then fires away to Jamison. Ahead it comes to Mundell.
Somebody had to have numbers for Greenfield Central.
Everybody getting a hand on it there. Jackson fires a three-point try. Loose ball rebound foul is going to go against New Pal.
I think Coach Lewis probably a little disappointed in that possession. You had 3 Dragons chasing in the front court off of a missed shot, and they were finally able to break that press, but really they've got to get a better shot up than a three-point attempt from probably not, your number 1 shooter.
Top of the key, Jamison hands off to Jared Jackson for Greenfield Central. They've got the ball and a 9-point lead. Here's Mundell driving, count the basket, and the foul coming up.
We hadn't called his name a whole lot. He had 2 threes in the first quarter and had been pretty silent since then, but that's a pretty big basket.
Definitely worth another look on the replay. We'll get it a little later as he just powers in from the right side. Mundell now with 8 points, his first trip to the stripe, and can't get the free throw to go. Rebound comes down to New Palestine, but the lead for Greenfield Central has swelled to 11. Gizzy at top of the key, over to the right side, Graham Biggs. Here's Gizzy again, over to the left side now, Matthew True. And back out it comes once more. A bit of matchup defense here for Greenfield Central, doing its job in the early goings. How about a long three for Gizzy off the mark, rebound batted around. Greenfield Central comes up with it. A couple of Dragons got their fingers on it, but couldn't ensnare the loose ball.
Don't like that shot at all from Gizzy. Just forced up a 3 so early in the possession. Didn't make the Cougars defense work a whole lot.
Jackson to Jamison. Back up top it comes. Mundell finds an opening. Kicks it out for 3 for Jamison. It's good!
The three-point basket has been the absolute difference here in the second half. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 or 5 of them for the Cougars here in the second half, and that's really what's kept them in front and has stretched out their lead here now.
And forces Trent Whittaker to burn another timeout on the New Palestine Dragons sideline. 5 minutes, 41 seconds to play in this one, and Greenfield Central has ballooned that lead up to 14. Taking a look at the leading scorers, Will O'Connor, as we mentioned, he's got 10. Dre Jamison with that big 3 for Greenfield Central now has 9. Josh Mundell with 8. Qualkenbush with 9. Dizzy and True with 8 apiece for New Palestine. And as we look ahead down the road, we've got a great doubleheader on the way next weekend here on 9-Star TV. Mike Petrie, you're going to be part of the broadcast for Knightstown and Eastern Hancock.
And feel free to tune in besides that fact that I will be on the broadcast. No, that's a great rivalry, and we've carried that doubleheader. I think that's always that last weekend right before the Christmas break, and really 2 teams that not in the same county, and I think even at times That is what the rivalry is, though. I think as much of as a rivalry as you see here with newpal and with Greenfield Central and with Mount Vernon on the central and western part of Hancock County, eastern Hancock and Knightstown separated by maybe 5 miles.
If that. Keep up on all the games we have for you by liking 9-Star Connect on Facebook and following us on Twitter at 9-Star Connect. Out of the timeout, Gizzy with it for New Palestine. Over to True. Now back to Gizzy, top of the key. To the left side, here's Little. Inside it comes. The shot dead center from Qualkenbush is short, and the rebound comes down to Will O'Connor.
A good play design. I think Qualkenbush might have rushed that one again. He was probably a little more open than he thought.
O'Connor pulls it up, gets it over to Jackson on the right side. 42-28 your score. It's been a close game throughout the evening, but at the moment, Greenfield Central in command, although there's a nice takeaway for Austin Keel of New Palestine. We'll see if the Dragons can cash in. It's in the hands of Qualkenbush, and he loses it out of bounds, but it was knocked away from behind by Dre Jamison,
That
so it'll stay.
sneaky play by Jamison. Jamison let him get past and then was trying to pick his pocket on the backside. At the very least, knocks it out and forces the Dragons to reset.
The inbounds comes Gizzy on the right side. Bounce to Qualkenbush in the corner. Gets around a defender, puts it up and scores.
He is so good off the bounce. Really, I like his game so much more when he's attacking the basket rather than when he's settling for jump shots.
Double figures with 11 is Qualkenbush. Deficit is 12, and the Cougars have the ball looking for more. Will O'Connor slows things down at midcourt, draws the double team out to him, and bounces away to Dre Jamison. Now Jamison double teamed and gets out of a trouble underneath the student section. Here comes to Jackson, bounce pass, tried to get it back to Long, it's taken away. Gizzy coast to coast, whistle. Forget about the basket, but there was a foul on the floor.
A foul before he put that shot up. Number 12 for Greenfield Central, Mundell, did a good job in transition defense there. He was setting up position. He might have gotten a charge called, except the foul came before that charge.
Jamison, with the second foul of the night for him. That is the third on Greenfield Central. New Palestine with a possession out of the break. James Little almost couldn't hold on to that pass, but saves it nicely. Back to Gizzy, driving, and a pushing foul is going to be called against Greenfield Central. And it goes against Will O'Connor.
And you see the newpal has done a better job of attacking the basket, but you see the big complicating factor for them is that because Greenfield Central is able to sag back off of that three-point line, it's just heavy sledding trying to get to the basket and easier for double teams to come.
Triggering the inbound, Gizzy gets it inside and a swat from behind. Austin Keel will earn a trip to the foul line, staking his claim down low.
A nice look by Gizzy. I'm not sure that's really the number one option that Trent Whitaker wants for the offensive side, but it'll work in this possession. And a very smooth look for Keel. Didn't look great on the jump shot, but when he got fouled, that was a smooth free throw.
And the sophomore puts his name into the books, gets his first free throw to go. Can make this a 10-point game. Second one is up and no good, and that one's good as well, as you're seeing Harrison Van Roon, who went out in the first half, hasn't really gotten back into the contest and is being helped back to the locker room. Hopefully all will be well for him. But back to live action for the Cougars as top of the key O'Connor. Splits a double team, gets it over to Mundell, goes baseline, double team trap, lost the handle, and fouled in the process. So a good save on what looked like it could have been a turnover there.
Yeah, kind of a busted play on the offensive end for the Cougars, but Jamison with the head fake gets past one player, and really once he got down on that baseline, one thing newpal's got to do, they had him trapped. He had nowhere to go. There's a time when you've got to reach and you've got to do what you can to stop a guy. That was not the time to reach in. They kind of bailed him out of trouble.
O'Connor sends that one long. Dre Jamison collects the inbounds in backcourt and brings it across the stripe. He's being chased by Gizzy on defense. Jamison goes to his right, gets around him. Bounce pass goes over to Logan Grady. And the Cougars kick it back out. They'll reset the play. 3.5 minutes to go in regulation as Mundell drives, and we have a whistle on the floor. Graham Biggs came up with a block, but the play was already dead. They'll stay on this side of the floor as Gizzy picks up his second foul tonight.
And we see just a nice job by Jamison that time creating the opportunity for himself, and the Dragons forced to bail themselves out defensively.
Mundell gives off to Jamison as he holds high, cuts to his left, and favorably for the Cougars, clock continues to run. O'Connor, top of the key, guarded by True. Works his way out of a double team there, bounces way to Jamison. Jamison throws it away, the Dragons come up with it, and the foul from behind committed by John Davis, as not only did he not get the pass, but he bumps James Little once Little came up the steal.
And that foul would be number 6, so the next foul goes in and puts him in the bonus. Almost the cardinal sin of not getting the pass and then causing a foul, but they've got one more to give.
Qualkenbush gives off to True, who drives. They want to count the basket, but it's not going to be counted. The foul is going to be called before.
That would have been a heck of a continuation for that to be a basket that counts. But a nice move offensively. Qualkenbush draws the defense, gets his teammate open, and then True has a chance to go to the free throw line.
Sophomore guard puts up the front end of the 1-and-1. It's good. He'll have a chance to go to double figures. Foul on Logan Grady is his second. And that puts New Palestine into the bonus the rest of the way. Substitution for Greenfield Central. You see Logan Grady going off. Brian Long checks in. And second free throw is up and good as well. So True into double figures. Samuel Voles in for New Palestine, replacing Biggs.
I like this defensive substitution. Voles a little bit more length, able to counteract Long.
Greenfield Central brings it into front court quickly. Jamison on the right side. Bouncer to Mundell, over to the left side to John Davis, and he lost it.
I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Lewis would call a timeout there. Just guys going way too fast. You got to remember, you got an 8-point lead and make newpal work a little bit more.
Jumper for Gizzy, a runner in the lane won't go, and the Cougars come out with it once more. 2:35 in an 8-point game, and there's a foul in backcourt on Maximus Gizzy. That will be his third, and now both teams are in the bonus. So we will have free throws the rest of the way, including this visit for Dre Jamison, which will be his first of the night.
The Cougars are going to have to make some free throws for sure, but I'm not sure that's exactly what newpal had in mind.
Misses the front end, but going over the back was Brian Long, and the Dragons will get the possession.
And a nice job by Voles establishing position. He was really put Long in a position where Long was going to have to go over his back. Really, Long forced him under the basket, but now Voles can take that long walk to the free throw line and bring it down to a 2-possession game without any time coming off.
Voles puts up his front end, and that one's off the mark as well. Rebound comes down to Will O'Connor. Under the 2.5-minute mark, an 8-point game. Plenty of time that the Dragons can get their defense going. There's a bump, and that's going out of bounds, and that's what the Dragons need.
Yeah,
a little bit of effort.
That's 3 empty possessions for this Greenfield Central squad. Good defense from newpal. Give credit where it's due, but you've got to value the possession a little bit more if you're the Cougars.
The inbounds for New Palestine goes over to True, and now in the hands of Gizzy on the right side. He's going to drive, pulls up the foul line, kicks it out to the semicircle for James Little. Shot a bit too strong, and Mundell comes down with it for Greenfield Central, and he's fouled. And we'll walk at the length.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Trent Whitaker saw, but I think Jalen Qualkenbush was flashing under the basket, and Trent Whitaker just about hit the roof.
Sometimes things just don't work out. And it sends Mundell to the stripe for the front end of the 1-and-1, which he knocks down. So Josh Mundell now with 9 points. And double figures now. 44-34. Back to a double-digit lead for Greenfield Central as the clock continues to run. True Gets it down in the left corner for Little. Back up top to Gizzy. Drives. And a turnover as he carried the ball. No, but a whistle and a foul.
Okay. From where the official blew the call, I didn't see the any signal from him, but I thought that's what the call was.
Take a look, a little swat from behind by Jamison. They're saying caused the double dribble. That is foul number 3 on Jamison, and the front end of the 1-and-1 doesn't go, and we have a rebound underneath, and we'll go shoot some free throws the other way.
The Cougars are fortunate that they've had a little bit of sloppiness here with the lead, that it hasn't come back to bite them a little bit more than what we've seen in terms of not only turning the ball over, fouling well away from the basket, and really just stopping the clock. The clock's going to stop a lot in this last 2 minutes. You don't have to do the Dragons any favors. And now we have a lane violation.
So wipe that back off of the books, and we'll stay at 10 points. Stay tuned. Maybe somebody will score in the remaining minute 54 of this one. Gizzy with it for New Palestine. Bounce pass through traffic to James Little. Puts up the runner. Can't get it to go. Greenfield Central rebound in the hands of Mundell. And a whistle, and Greenfield Central's going to call a timeout. Michael Lewis
has seen enough.
He wants things to settle down and stop
Greenfield Central.
this production that at the moment resembles basketball. But both teams are getting a little ahead of themselves here as frantic times come as we tick down near the end. So the Greenfield Central timeout comes with 1 minute and 44 seconds to play. And the Cougars have weathered a couple of storms here in this one, Mike. They've been able to build this lead back up to double figures.
Yeah, as much as anything, I think from newpal's standpoint, in terms of trying to get back into it, they've done their job defensively, both forcing the issue. They've kind of rushed the Cougars into some bad possessions and have really helped convert that, or it's helped that Greenfield Central hasn't made any free throws. But on the offensive side, newpal just a little bit too limited. They're really looking for that sure thing in terms of a guy that can come in and make some shots. But even at the free throw line, they've gotten to the free throw line a couple of times, haven't been able to convert.
So the locals enjoying the show that they've seen tonight. This is the second half of the boys-girls doubleheader. We had the broadcast of the girls game for you earlier on 9 Star Connect. And New Palestine came out with a victory in that one. Greenfield Central looking to get the split here, and out of the timeout, they'll bring the length of the floor off the Will O'Connor inbound. A couple of Cougars cutting each way, and they'll bring it into Dre Jamison. Jamison double teamed in backcourt, had it knocked away from Logan Grady. New Palestine's got it. Here's Gizzy underneath the basket. That would have been nice if it went, but the rebound putback is pretty nice for James Little, his first basket of the evening. It's an 8-point game. In backcourt now. Mundell needs a little help, finds O'Connor, still in backcourt. Jackson, now they'll get it across the stripe. Jamison top of the key. Knocked away as a flying dragon goes out of bounds. Got a hand on it, did James Little, threw himself into the stands.
Yeah, a fantastic effort from Little there. Able to knock away the pass and then almost save it to a teammate, all in one motion.
Dragons could not grab away possession. Cougars will inbound. 77 seconds on the clock, and they are up 8. Josh Mundell catching his breath while he can. It's been a frantic last few minutes of this contest as the inbounds comes to Jamison. Back to Mundell. Draws the double team, now a triple team, and try to get it down low to Jamison. Too much mustard on that one.
And again, Greenfield Central, you would think that they're not the ones with an 8-point lead. The way they're rushing through some of these passes, Coach Lewis calls the timeout, and then they promptly turn the ball over twice. I'm pretty sure that's not what he had designs on.
Probably wanted them to calm down, but just the opposite has happened here at the moment. Still with the lead, though. Gizzy with it, gets it over to True. True has it knocked away momentarily by Jackson. Saves it, however. New Palestine comes up with it again, but a travel.
And just all the good they do on the defensive end, they really haven't been able to get up over that hill because of their limitations offensively.
Quick substitution for Greenfield Central. Matt Turner comes in. John Davis takes a seat. 52.5 on the clock. And the inbounds for Greenfield Central comes to Jackson. He'll move it around. Now Turner brings it across. And getting ahead of the defense and making them pay is Josh Mundell, who's got 12 points with that lay-in from the right side. Back the other way quickly. Quick answer up for Matthew True, and that'll trigger a timeout from Trent Whitaker.
I think both coaches kind of come into that timeout and say, well, yeah, that's what I had in mind. That's what I've been telling you to do. First, a great press break by Greenfield Central. And you see, nothing rushed there, nothing too difficult. They made 4 easy passes and were able to get a layup out of it. And then on the other side, finally, newpal able to run something for run a possession that results in points. As True was able to knock down the shot, but it didn't take a great no-look pass through 4 people. It was drive, kick, find an open guy, and knock down a shot. A lot of times I think both teams have been making the offense a little bit too hard.
We got to get the students some big heads of you and me to start holding up in future contests. Somebody needs to, maybe we need to get a Kickstarter going to make that happen, because I'm not paying for it.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, can't afford that. Coming out 35.5 seconds on the clock. Big HHC battle. We're glad you joined us on 9 Star Connect. It has lived up to its billing. Both teams coming in at 1 and 2, but a very spirited contest. New Palestine just a shot away on several occasions from really swinging the momentum of this one, but Greenfield Central has led from start to finish. Inbounds to O'Connor. He gets ahead of 2 defenders and brings it across the stripe. To the right side, O'Connor down to Jared Jackson to Mundell, and they'll kick it back out. Now Greenfield Central realizes that the clock is their friend.
Yeah.
They bring it to the top of the key, and New Palestine is forced to foul.
Absolutely. I thought that possession, as much as anything, what Mundell did in terms of getting to the baseline, forcing the defense to follow, and then kicking out, was exactly what Greenfield Central needed.
First free throw is up and good for Will O'Connor. He's knocked down 5 from the stripe now, as he scores 11 points overall. Held in check in the first half, but breaking out of it here in the second half. 4 free throws and a couple of big threes, part of his second half production. And the lead back to 10. So New Palestine brings it across in the hands of Gizzy, top of the key. He drives, kicks it over. 3-point try is blocked out of the hands of True. Logan Grady got a piece of it, comes down with a rebound and the foul. And Greenfield Central about to put the bow on this one.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want on the defensive side. You get a shot block, and Gizzy with a tough end of the night. He had 8 points at half. He finishes the game with 8 points as Greenfield Central really turned their defensive attention over to him.
Samuel Voles picks up his 3rd foul in the process. Double bonus now, the rest of the way for Greenfield Central, as John Davis knocks down both free throws. It's a 12-point lead. Here's Gizzy. He's going to fire a quick 3. It's strong, and the rebound will head out of bounds. Greenfield Central will bring it in with 7.3.
In a full court press, but I doubt you see a foul if they get the ball in here. Oh, I am incorrect. I don't think Gizzy meant to foul.
Why are you my analyst? You got that wrong.
Analyst, not a future, not a fortune teller, apparently.
So more free throws will be coming with 5.3. And then a lot of substitutions will be coming for Greenfield Central. Some of the younger players getting ready to come into the contest. Dre Jamison at the stripe, and he's in double figures now with 10. And we'll try to run this all down. Casey Phillips into the contest. Brady Mundell into the game. Logan Grady checks in one more time. Noah Evanoff is into the game. Second free throw is up and good for Dre Jamison. And Jamison will be replaced by Matt Turner. 5 seconds on the clock. New Palestine brings it across. Gizzy splits the double team, lays one in for the final basket of the night. And the Greenfield Central Cougars are going to come out with a big victory to start their Hoosier Heritage Conference campaign 1-0. They are 2-2 overall as they knock off the New Palestine Dragons 52-40. New Palestine falls to 1-3 overall and 0-1 in the HHC. It was entertaining throughout. It was close at times, Mike, but Greenfield Central just never quite let go of control of this one.
Yeah, they were able to get out to that early lead, and that was a big deal because New Pal, every time they would just get almost to the top of that hill, and then the boulder kept coming down. And it just came back to not having that reliable offensive weapon that they can go to. They've got some pieces that I think they're going to be able to build from, especially as the year goes on. But early on in the season, you can see where they're just getting fits and starts on the offensive end.
Michael Lewis happy tonight as his Cougars win over New Palestine 52-40. Coming back with our post-game show, player of the game, stats, and more. You're watching high school basketball on 9 Star TV.
In the winter, we are not selling very many snow cones. I think it's because it's cold outside. To compensate, we try soup.
Soup?
Hot, tasty soup.
This is revolutionary. You heat them up with soup, and then look, they gotta buy more snow cones to cool down. And you make the soup even hotter.
Because then their mouth is on fire. So
Then more snow cones.
Back one more time at Greenfield Central High School for our post-game show as the Cougars knock off the New Palestine Dragons 52-40 in the Hoosier Heritage Conference opener for both teams. Alongside Mike Petrie, Chris Lambert with you. And first order of business on the post-game show is named player of the game. Mike.
Well, you know, as we were talking, it was scoring by committee from the Greenfield Central squad. And so you really could pick anybody from the Will O'Connor, Josh Mundell, or Dre Jameson trio, but we don't do player of the game by committee. And as always, we do like to recognize the other side. Maximus Gizzi showed, I think he got a little bit under the skin of the Greenfield Central Cougars, and I think that they're going to have 4 years of looking forward to getting under the skin of opponents. In addition to that, Jalen Qualkenbush, after a really quiet first half, sat out with foul trouble. He came back and played quite well in the second half, but for Greenfield Central, we kept talking about how it was the early lead was such a big deal for them because they got out to that early lead. They forced New Pal to play from behind and to really chase the rest of the game, and I think that shaped how New Pal was forced to run their offense, really took a lot out of them, just making those constant comebacks. So of the committee, I'm putting Mundell up because he had the 2 threes in that first quarter, and he was the one that really got them out to the big start.
Sounds good to me. Josh Mundell, player of the game tonight here on 9 Star Connect, as you look at some of the highlights for Greenfield Central, and there were a lot of them, especially from outside the arc. Threes were the name of the game. That's the first or the second, one of the two that Josh Mundell put up from long range to open up that 14-6 first quarter lead. So the lead was 8 after 1. It was 5 at the half. It was 9 at 3, and it ended up being a 12-point game, which I believe matches the biggest lead of the night for Greenfield Central that came early in that second quarter.
Yeah, they got it up. Very rarely were they able to push it into that double figures, but it was usually somewhere between 6 and 10 throughout most of the night.
Mundell tied with Will O'Connor for leading scorer for Greenfield Central, 12 points apiece for both of them. Dre Jameson with 11. Jared Jackson had 5. Brian Long 4. Logan Grady and Matt Turner with 3 apiece. And Grady's 3 came on a similarly big three-pointer that shut off the first New Palestine run late in the second quarter. 2 points for John Davis rounding out the scoring for the victorious Greenfield Central Cougars. who moved to 2-2 on the season. For New Palestine in the loss, Matthew True leading the way with 12 points. 11 for Jalen Qualkenbush, saddled with foul trouble early in the first quarter, was ineffective and really didn't see the floor much in the first half, but he came back strong, scoring 11 points all in the second half. Others scoring 3 points for Harrison Van Roon, who, as we noted, left the game early and did not return due to an injury. Certainly wishing good thoughts his way, as there's a lot of basketball still to play this season. Hope he's back at it. James Little with 2, and Austin Keel also with 2 for New Palestine. So both of these teams have big games coming up. Next week, Greenfield Central will be at Broad Ripple on the 14th. They'll be visiting Yorktown as well. Their next on the 16th. Their next home game is against Connorsville on the 20th. New Palestine will be hosting Newcastle and Franklin Central next weekend. If you're a fan of either of these teams, make plans to head out and see some live high school basketball. So overall, it's a split tonight. The boys-girls doubleheader at Greenfield Central. Big win for the New Palestine girls, and likewise, nice win for the Greenfield Central Cougars in the boys game tonight. And everybody has something to go home happy about.
That's right. You get a split, and the overriding thought that I had from the girls' game in particular, that is a very strong New Pal team that has a lot of different weapons that can attack you, up and down the lineup, and you're going to get contributions really from everybody on the roster. From Greenfield Central's side, I think as much as anything, it's just this young team, as they mature and as they grow into the fact that they're going to be seeing so many more significant minutes, learning to kind of play in all of those situations. We saw a lot of learning how to play with a lead and not really panic when one team makes a run. So I think that Coach Lewis has a lot of things to build on that side.
Next Saturday, big doubleheader again, boys and girls action in Eastern Hancock and Knightstown. We'll be looking for that next Saturday right here on 9 Star Connect. And Mike, you're giddy of the chance to call that game again, or those two games, I should say.
Those two games, and you're going to see again just a absolute rivalry, and really a good way to finish off the pre-Christmas part of the schedule. Eastern Hancock versus Knightstown. I've actually called the game the last 2 years from both gyms, and both student sections try to outdo each other both at home and on the road.
Can't wait to see what fun you've got in store for us on 9 Star next week. And we'll leave it at that for this evening. Once again, your final score here, the Greenfield Central Cougars 52, the New Palestine Dragons 40. For the entire 9 Star broadcast team, John Painter, Bill McKenna, and everybody running the cameras, read the credits and give them the credit they deserve. Did a great job carrying us tonight. My partner is Mike Petrie. I'm Chris Lambert. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, so long, everybody.